We witnessed one of the best drives of the year at Road America when Kenton Koch made pass after incredible pass to work his 021 Triarci Ferrari from last to first in IMSA's GTD category. Now, although GTP and GTD Pro get the lion's share of screen time, that certainly doesn't mean that this racing is any less intense, as was on full display up in Wisconsin. We will join this epic comeback as Triarci finishes a solid stint aboard his Ferrari 296 and hands over to Kenton Koch, who squeezes behind the wheel as the team bolts on a set of fresh Michelin tires. And with Triarci's drive time complete, Kenton will be finishing out the remaining hour and a half of this race. And as Kenton Koch exits the pits, there was actually a little hiccup during that stop, so he exits behind the number 120 Wright Porsche, which was featured in the F1 movie. And as we can see from the broadcast, the front of this GTD field exits the pits with Kenton still up in the top right-hand corner behind that number 120 Wright Porsche and in last place in the GTD category. So as Kenton accelerates out of the pits and breaks into turn 1, he knows that he has a huge amount of work to do to work his way through this ultra-competitive field. So, with the field still behind the safety car, but ready to go back to green flag racing, Kenton is lined up behind this 120 Porsche and ready to pounce as he has to dodge to the right-hand side to avoid that Porsche. The accordion effect can be so large at the back of this 42 car field, and it can be so hard to tell when the race has gone green and when they're just catching the cars in front in the safety car queue. Into Canada corner as he slams on the brakes, but the race has not gone green yet. He looks around the outside of that Porsche and tries to time his restart perfectly. He slams the throttle once again and makes his way past that 120 car, but the race isn't quite green yet. He has to lift out of the throttle, allowing that 120 car back in front one more time before finally the race has gone green. As Skier looks for a way past that 34 Ferrari, Kenton goes around the outside through the final corner as they go side by side. He is now past that 120 Porsche as he tucks in behind the Lamborghini, but switches to be behind that 34 Ferrari of Daniel Serra and bump drafts the 34 car past that 45 Lamborghini as they close in on the 12 Lexus. They are in the most expensive GT3 cars on the planet and bump drafting them like they're MX-5s. Through turn 1, we see dust on the exit as the 3 Corvette was hit off the track, and Koch looks around the outside of that 78 Lamborghini. He brakes hard into this right-hand corner. We can see the Porsche on the inside, but on the exit is a spun Corvette, and Koch just barely avoids making contact. Somehow, the majority of this GTD field made it past without any issues, but Koch did gain a few positions with his quick reactions. So, with the field once again behind the safety car, the silhouette of Koch's Ferrari is eclipsed by the yellow and blue Turner BMW, who he is tucked up just behind, with now 4 GTD cars lined up behind him, and his Ferrari in 7th position. And with Koch planning his way past this BMW, let's jump aboard the 12 Lexus of Hawksworth, who is trying to find a way past the DXTT Corvette, which is 2nd place, and the 57 Windward Ferrari, which is up in 1st. And as they make their way through Canada corner, we can see that Ellis has left a gap to the GTD Pro cars out front because he wants to build a gap on this restart to the GTDs behind and doesn't want to get caught up in any GTD Pro battles. But as they make their way through the fast turn 13, we can see they are closing in on the GTD Pros out front. Through the final corner and onto the front straight, the 36 and the 12 are sniffing all over the rear of this 57 Mercedes, which is tucked up behind the 2 GTD Pro Corvettes. And as they make their way down the front stretch, the 3 car of Alexander Sims pulls in behind his teammate to try to push it by that number 81 Dragon Speed Ferrari. They nearly go 3 wide into turn 1, but Ellis thinks better of it as the DXT Corvette tries to find a way past that 57 car, and Hawksworth is just behind as well. Into turn 3, and Ellis looks around the outside of this factory number 3 Corvette, but is not able to complete the move. He has a better run coming out of the corner though, and that Corvette, which was damaged in that turn 1 incident on the previous restart, is not able to defend as Ellis finds his way past with that number 36 car also in tow just behind the factory Corvette. And as they power down into the tight left-hander, we can see just out front of Hawksworth, this 36 car is trying to find a way past. Udell brakes late around the outside of the number 3 car and is ahead of that factory Corvette. but back aboard the 021, and we can see the Turner BMW is trying to find a way past the 13 AWA Corvette. They make contact in the braking zone for turn 6. The Turner car is passed, and Koch looks for a way past that black and gold Corvette as well, but there is just nowhere to go through this fast right-hander as they make their way down the hill into the tight left-hander. Koch looks for a way past once again. He pops to the outside and brakes incredibly late in his Ferrari as he goes around the outside of the Corvette and is shoved slightly wide, going 2 wheels in the dirt as he is still alongside through the long carousel corner. He makes his way past that Corvette and up into P6 in his red Ferrari as he still has his sights set on the rear of that yellow BMW. As they hammer down the front stretch, Koch is tucked into the draft of that BMW, which is punching a big hole in the air. His prancing horse gallops down the front stretch as he pulls to the left-hand side, and they make their way into the fast right-hand turn 1. He brakes as late as possible and makes it around the outside of that Turner BMW with an ultra-fast corner as he tucks in behind the 78 Forte Racing Lamborghini, who is just behind that third place number 12 Vassar Sullivan Lexus of Jack Hawksworth. Over the crest and into turn 6, we can see this conga line of GTDs and GTD Pros just out front of this 021 Ferrari. Through the fast right-hander, Koch uses the apex curb, and Farnbacher out front goes 2 wheels in the dirt as he pushes over the limit of that Lamborghini. Koch brakes late up the inside, but is not able to complete the move as Farnbacher is just able to hold on to P4 in his Lamborghini. Through the long right-hand carousel, we can see the relative performance of these GTDs as Koch closes in through the apex, but Farnbacher pulls away through the exit as the GTPs are now making their way past into the kink. Farnbacher's run through the fast right-hander is compromised in the dirty air of that Porsche. Koch has the run and closes in as the Cadillac makes its way past. Koch pops to the outside of the Lamborghini and has to go 2 wheels in the dirt to make his way past into Canada Corner. Ultra commitment from the Ferrari driver as he makes his way into P4 and is closing in on the number 12 Vassar Sullivan Lexus, which is still trying to find his way past the number 3 Corvette through this fast left-hander into the final corner. He has a nose ahead, but is not able to complete the move as the Corvette makes its way past once again and is now holding up this 12 Lexus as the 021 closes in on Hawksworth. He pokes his nose to the right-hand side, but the Lexus has the draft of that Corvette as they go side by side down the front straight, make that 3 wide with the GTPs blasting their way past these GTDs. They are wheel to wheel and door to door. Hawksworth brakes later and defends his position, but is on the less grippy outside line and cannot hold his position as Koch makes his way past through the exit up into P3 as that V12 Valkyrie comes screaming past. But to continue his march through this GTD field, Koch has to make his way past this 3 Corvette to catch up to the 36 and number 57 cars out front. So through the final corner, he gets a good run using all of that apex curb, trying to get a little bit of clean air on his nose as he tucks into the draft of that 3 Corvette. Koch's Ferrari drags its way up alongside the slightly damaged number 3 Corvette as he tries to make his way past and continue his charge through the field. The Corvette has the legs into turn 1 though, and with Koch on the outside line, he cedes the position once again to the 3 Corvette as he gets a better run coming out of the corner though. That 3 car runs slightly wide. He has a nose up alongside and has just enough leverage to hold the inside line and make his way past that 3 Corvette as he continues his march through this GTD field. Now, this TriRC Ferrari team has not yet stood on an IMSA podium, so just finishing in this P3 would be an incredible accomplishment for Koch and TriRC. But back to the race, as they make their way through the final corner, we can see that strategies will start to play out because the 36 DXDT Corvette pulls into the pit lane, and with 56 minutes remaining, they will be able to make it to the end without needing an additional pit stop. So Koch follows suit on the next lap, also making it into the pit lane with 54 minutes remaining now in this 2 hour and 40 minute race. He pulls to the right-hand side and into his pit box as the team jumps over the wall to bolt on one final fresh set of Michelin tires as we can see the number 34 Ferrari and 120 Wright Porsche flash past. While the team is servicing the car, out on track there is battling between 2 GTPs and the Cadillac goes spinning into turn 6. With that 10 car in a precarious position, the safety car is going to come out. So as he pulls out of his pit box, he may have lost a few positions to cars that are still out on track, but he will gain all of those and more back when they have to pit behind the safety car. So as Koch exits the pit lane with the 120 Porsche tucked up just behind him, this Triarsi team finds itself in a fantastic position to achieve their first ever IMSA podium. When they brought on Kenton, they hoped he would help bring some magic sauce to help them achieve that first podium, but I'm sure even they are surprised that it might happen after just 2 races. So with Koch tucked up behind this 45 car, we can jump back aboard the 57, which had to pit under that yellow flag, and we can see how many positions they and this 12 Lexus lost, who was tucked up just behind that 57 car. So with the 021 up ahead, these two will have to fight their way back through this field to get back out front as Hawksworth makes contact with Ellis through the apex and pushes him wide on the exit, nearly hooking that number 57 Mercedes around. And with the battling ensuing behind, Koch is tucked up behind that number 45 Lamborghini of Trent Hinman, and through the final corner, he gets a fantastic run onto the front straight. These two Italian GT3s are in lockstep as they climb the crest that leads across the start-finish line. Hinman pulls to the right-hand side to defend his 4th position, but Koch is closing in as they make their way into turn 1. He pulls to the left-hand side, and Hinman brakes as late as he possibly can, but Koch brakes a bit earlier and gets a better run coming out of the corner. He now has an overlap as they make their way into turn 3 with that chrome Lamborghini unable to defend the inside line. Koch squeezes up alongside and then past up into 4th position as he continues chasing down that 34 Conquest Ferrari driven by Ferrari factory driver Daniel Serra. Into the tight turn 5 left-hander, Koch is the last of the late breakers, squeezing up alongside and then past that 34 Ferrari as he makes his way into a podium position in his 021 Triarsi Ferrari and closes in on the 78 Forte Racing Lamborghini, which is tucked up behind the DXDT Corvette. Through the fast right-hander, Koch uses every inch of road as he closes in into the tight left-hander. He moves into the mirrors of that Lamborghini just to let Farnbacher know that he is right behind and looking for a way past. Through the long right-hand carousel, Koch once again closes in on this Lamborghini using that really tight line, but Farnbacher gets a better run coming out of the corner as they once again have GTP traffic as they make their way into the kink. The Porsche squeezes past that 78 car, who is held up in the dirty air through that fast right-hander, and Koch once again is closing in. It is deja vu as they hammer into Canada corner. The Lamborghini, though, defends to the right-hand side this time, and Koch looks around the outside but is not able to outbrake that 78 car, with Farnbacher pushing that Lamborghini to its limits to hold on to P2. Through the fast right-hander, Farnbacher uses every inch of road to stay ahead. And as they make their way into turn 5, we once again see GTP traffic working past these GTDs. Into turn 5, that Lamborghini is able to pull a slight gap on this 021 car. We see another GTP come flying past, and Koch uses this opportunity to squeeze up alongside that Lamborghini, which was caught behind the GTP in the braking zone. Koch power slides through the exit as he makes his way up into 2nd position and closes in on that 36, which is leading this GTD category. But just ahead, we can see that number 14 GTD Pro Lexus is in between Koch and the class leader, so he has to make his way past Barnicoat if he wants to catch that 36 car and claim Triarsi's first win in IMSA competition. Through the exit of turn 7, we can see Barnicoat is struggling to put the power down in his Vassar Sullivan Lexus as Koch looks around the outside, trying to get a little bit of clean air on his nose and a little bit of downforce to get a better run coming out of this long carousel corner. Through the exit, and LMP2 comes flying past and squeezes past the Lexus as well through the kink that compromises Barnicoat's run, and Koch tries to tuck into the draft of that Lexus as we can see more LMP2s piling their way past into Canada corner. Barnicoat hugs the outside line and leaves the door wide open for Koch to brake as late as possible and make his way past that GTD Pro car as he continues to close in on the class-leading number 36 DXDT Corvette of Udell. And through the exit of turn 3, with just over 10 minutes remaining, he has caught the class leader. This is the battle for the top step of the GTD podium. And as this Ferrari's engine sings into turn 5, we know Koch will do everything possible to claim that first victory for Triarsi. And we can see Udell is actually caught in a freight train of GTD pros who are just ahead, now holding up that 36 Corvette. Koch closes in through this tight left-hander, but there is nowhere to go on the exit as they are single file through this fast right-hander. But just ahead, we can see that number 3 Corvette is causing a traffic jam that these two GTDs are caught up in. Kenton Koch looks up the inside of Udell, who is caught behind the Pfaff Lamborghini, but is just not able to execute the move. Udell will have to find his way past these GTD pros if he wants to stay ahead of Koch in the 021 Ferrari. Through the final corner and onto the long straight, Koch has a fantastic draft behind this 36 car. But as they make their way down the long straight, Udell also has a fantastic draft from the GTD pros out front and is able to pull a slight gap on this Ferrari. Into turn 1, Koch brakes as late as he can, clips the apex with that green Corvette running slightly wide through the exit. Koch has the better run coming out of the corner and pokes his nose up the inside, letting Udell know he is here and wants to find his way past. Udell is a little bit deep into turn 3 and Koch pushes the limits as he closes in on this Corvette, now tucked up just underneath the rear wing. There is barely a paper's width between Koch's Ferrari and that 36 Corvette as we can hear the engine note of that V8 howling as they make their way into turn 5. Udell brakes as late as he can and Koch sets up for a better run coming out of the corner. He has the better exit and has the overspeed as he pokes his nose up the inside. Udell tries to defend, but Koch has a gap and goes for it as he makes his way past the Corvette and up into first position in GTD. Koch needs to quickly make his escape to solidify this P1 as he uses every inch of road, with dust being kicked up by that Lamborghini out front and the GTP Porsche making its way past. Koch once again uses every inch of road with the Ferrari squirming through the exit as he puts the power down and builds a gap on that Corvette. And with 0 minutes remaining, Koch was able to fend off that Corvette and the remaining GTDs to claim Triarci's first victory in GTD. I don't often show GTD racing on this channel, but that was such a fantastic drive. I just had to share it with you guys. So I really hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Thank you guys so much for watching and so much for supporting. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys. And I want to give a special shout out to my channel members. Thank you all for the love and support. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate you guys. And I want to give a special shout out to Kenton Koch. He is such a nice guy. So make sure to follow him on social media and say hi to him if you see him at a race. Anyways, thank you guys again for watching. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.